In our last session, we talked about the different things that seem to be able to contribute to a Candida yeast overgrowth. A diet heavy in carbohydrates, the use of antibiotics, our environment, heredity. But now I want to talk specifically what causes these variety of health issues that we had talked about previously, the gas and bloating, the vaginal yeast infections in women, the jock itch in men, the fibromyalgia like aches and pains, sinus problems, food allergies, chemical sensitivities. Candida yeast is a living organism. It's a fungus, but it's still a living organism. And as it eats, it expels waste, like any other living organism. What happens or what seems to potentially happen is that we have or can develop an allergic reaction to this waste that is expelled by the fungus. Experts have identified upwards of 79 different waste products that are expelled, and we all seem to have different or varying degrees of allergic reaction to these waste products. That's why I could have 10 people in a room and each one has a different Candida yeast problem of a different level. So while this person over here may not be as allergic to one Candida yeast that causes oral thrush, they may be more allergic to one of the toxic wastes that causes eczema. I see that all the time. Again, different people can suffer with different health-related issues when it comes to a Candida yeast overgrowth. I'd also like to talk about a couple myths associated with Candida yeast. Number one is that this is a problem that can affect men as equally as women. I know a lot of men think, they hear yeast problems and they think, oh, that can't happen to me. They just think vaginal yeast infection and that's just a woman thing. That's nonsense. Men can equally suffer with a Candida yeast problem also, and I deal with men all the time on these issues, and they have the jock itch, the sinus problems, the nail fungus, the athlete's foot. So this is a problem that can affect males also. Number two would be, I have many women that come to me and say, Mike, how can I have a Candida yeast problem? I don't have a vaginal yeast infection. Just because you do not have a vaginal yeast infection does not mean that you do not have a Candida yeast problem. Again, you may not be as allergic to those wastes that can contribute to a vaginal yeast infection as you would be, say, another problem like sinus problems, or you have food allergies or chemical sensitivity. So keep that in mind, that just because you do not have a vaginal yeast infection, if you're a female, that doesn't mean that you do not have a Candida yeast overgrowth situation.